You're going to do great. You're going to do great.
You're going to do great.
Me, on the other hand, I don't know. All right. So just, I'm going to like talk to you, and I don't know if like you want to
Okay.
keep going back and forth.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Trendy Indy. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. And today I am joined by the Taylor Pearl with Taylor Pearl Photography. And she wears many hats. In fact, she just came off a fresh session right now. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
I have personally had firsthand experience of dealing with Taylor and her talent, but if I just want to know if you could share a little bit of background of how you got into this business and what drove you to this passion of yours.
Sure. The most basic answer I would say is I needed a flexible job after I had my two boys.
Okay.
So I jumped into this because I started at IU as a graphic design and art history major.
Okay.
So I was like in the arts already. And then from there, I was in marketing in Chicago. And that job, I was in charge of a lot of photo shoots. And it was more of the planning than I wasn't the photographer. But I got to see like behind the scenes and like the ins and outs of all of that. So from there, I had my boys and then stopped working to stay home with them. And then once they got to 2, 1, 2, then we decided, okay, time to go back to work. What am I going to do? What's flexible?
Evaluate a little bit.
Yeah. So I just decided, okay, let's get a camera. But to be fair, I was terrified because I had never had like a professional camera, but I knew how to edit. So I knew how Photoshop worked, all that. And I feel like that's kind of the harder part for a lot of photographers to learn, which I was more of the opposite. So once I got a camera, figured that out, then I was like, oh, I have to meet strangers. That was also my fear. Like, let me go to a field with these strangers I don't know. So once I figured all that out, kind of fast forward, and here we are.
So what year, how long have you been doing this then?
So I started with friends in the fall of 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like it seems like everybody is celebrating all walks of life, rightfully so. So can you give us a little bit of insight to the sessions that you provide and a little bit of overview of the process?
Yeah. So I mostly do, I would say I'm a portrait photographer. So
Okay.
people are my thing. And families, outside families, studio work. I love to do headshots, creative portraits, branding work. I also go to people's offices and do that. So those are like my main things. Oh, and also seniors. I love seniors. So call me.
It's funny because you said that you were kind of nervous of meeting people, and now all of a sudden, like you're right in front of everybody.
Yeah, it's good.
So, but we're fresh off the holiday season, new year, new me. A lot of people are getting into their business plans, looking to maybe rebrand, having holiday cards. What separates you apart from everybody else?
I would say, I mean, I think everyone's different. So I think more so people need to find the photographer that fits their style versus, saying like, oh, I'm really good at this or whatever. You know what I mean? I do think I excel in editing and finding good light. So that helps. But I also think it is really important for the person to find the photographer in the style that they like. Like, don't ask me to shoot like super dark or, you know what I mean? Like, see my page, see what I do. And if you like that, then book.
Yeah, and like you said, coming from Chicago, you had like the flip flop. You had the experience with the editing.
Yeah.
You've alluded to this a couple times, being in your studio. So was scaling always part of the what you had in mind, or what did you have in vision when you started this?
Okay, well, I'm gonna be truthful here. I am not like a goal person. Like, it's not. I don't like setting goals because I don't like the failure aspect of it.
Okay.
Like lowball lifestyle, and then great things happen. So you were at my house. That's where I shot before here. I think I just slowly evolved and outgrew that space. And having it in your house is convenient and free, but it's also very inconvenient to clean your house, get the kids under control. I have 2 dogs. Like, it's just, and it comes into like safety too. Who do you want in your home? You know what I mean? which most of my clients, 90% I know or know through someone. So that's not a big deal. But, it's just nicer. And the ceilings, the space, it just makes you feel legit. So I don't know if this was always my goal. Maybe like in the back of my head, I was like, that would be really cool to have. But it wasn't like, this is what I plan to do. It's just slow evolution.
Well, you just talked about like how we're now in the studio, but at first we were talking about meeting strangers and going out. Do you have a favorite location exterior?
I I have a couple, but
Are you allowed to tell us?
That's what I was gonna say. That's the thing. We can't tell. If I told, let's be clear. If you go to my page and you look, you're gonna be able to. You can figure it out. You can figure places out. People know how to do that. But as photographers, there's almost like this moral code of like, don't tell where you're shooting,
right.
Which is funny because like you're taking clients there, so like everyone knows. But like you don't want to tell people because then that becomes a popular spot. It's hard to shoot there. Like in the fall, one of the most popular spots, there could be like 12 photographers there, and it's like you're waiting to get to the good spots, the good light, and that's kind of a nightmare. So I won't tell you exterior, but interior would be here. So yeah,
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Now I like I said, I know we work together. You take great pride. You do a phenomenal job. What would you say is the best part for you for working?
Honestly, I am like very much an introvert. So literally just getting out of my shell and like talking to people gives me so much like energy that I think I don't get from being out, you know what I mean? But like that aspect of it is like one of the best things. Which I know like I'll be sitting at home before a shoot and be like, I don't really want to go. You know what I mean? But then you get there and afterwards I'm like, oh, like so excited. Like this is so great. And I feel like that's like such a weird thing to say because it doesn't really have to do with photography. It's just literally like being social. But it's like the best thing.
No, you do a great job, and if I hear you correctly, you're kind of being like a little bit of a chameleon. You may be an introvert, but you love interacting with people.
Yeah.
When you're not shooting, what would someone find you doing?
Oh gosh, rotting on the couch. I don't. I honestly, I read here and there. I'm not like in any book clubs. I honestly, I would say being outside, but right now it's winter. As a family, we do a lot of stuff. We have a good neighborhood, so a lot of the kids and the parents will play and have cocktails or hang out outside. We like to be at the pool, stuff like that. No like crazy hobby.
Okay. And if people wanted to look into figuring out if you are the right fit for them, how would people find you?
I would say social media. So Instagram, Facebook, my website. You could also find me occasionally on TikTok. I know a lot of people are there, seniors.
Yeah.
But yeah, social media for sure. I feel like most people go to Instagram, but it's just like a quick way to see a lot of photos. Get your vibe.
And so a little section that I try to bring up here is like wins and wines. And so, is there anything back when you were at maybe IU before this like whole thing came to fruition, that or maybe like recently, is there anything that has happened to you that kind of give you a little bit of momentum, that kind of give you a little big win to kind of make you feel like you've been doing the right thing?
I think this place is like the big win, Mm-hmm. I didn't think when I was at IU I would be doing photography, let alone have a place that has my name on the outside of the door. That is probably the biggest win, I would say.
Yeah, and one hell of you should definitely take pride in that for sure.
Yeah.
On the other side, is there anything that maybe you go home to your husband or kids and say, yeah, I don't know if this is the thing that I should do?
I think photography is kind of like an iceberg. Most people see the session and they're like, oh, why does this cost so much money? You know what I mean? It's like, well, that session is like the 10% of the job. When you go home, you're editing and it's so much time and
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like later nights and fitting it in, especially when I'm doing this to have flexibility with my kids. It makes it difficult. Definitely the editing, big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you try to be mom,
Right.
wife, and then have a job all in that.
Yeah.
Encompassing into one.
Yeah, it's a fun balance.
Balance, that's a good word.
Balance. Still working on it. That would be a wine. Working on my work-life balance. I think a lot of photographers are like that, though. Okay.
Well, I do know, like I said, from firsthand that she's extremely talented. So if you would like to know more, make sure to comment, follow, check out her page, Taylor Pearl with Taylor Pearl Photography. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. What do you think?
Good. Yeah? I think it was great.